Spiritism is a little-known philosophy that some would put into the category of religion. What is Spiritism, its core principles, main practices, benefits, where is it practiced in the world, and how does it differ from spiritualism? This video will explain all this in under 10 minutes. To understand Spiritism, it cannot be separated from its founder, Hippolyte Léon Denisard Rivail, 1804–1869, a French teacher, educational writer, and translator. In his early years, he completed a Bachelor of Arts degree in science and a doctorate in medicine. Fluent in 5 languages, he was also a member of several scholarly societies. Because of his interests in philosophy and the sciences, he became a colleague and supporter of Johann Heinrich Pestalozzi, and together, they developed a pedagogy for teaching in schools in France and Germany. In 1855, when he was in his early 50s, he met a Mr. Fortier who would change the course of his life by bringing him to a medium known as Madame de Plainsmaison in Paris. During this encounter, he saw paranormal phenomena like turntables jumping for the first time. The medium, while in a trance, started channeling a spirit called Zephyr, who asked Rivail to become a spokesman for the dead. He started attending seances, and as his interest deepened, he began to investigate mediumship in earnest. Initially, his intention was to find reasonable explanations for the phenomena he was witnessing. He thought up over 1,000 questions and began asking them to 10 different mediums who did not know each other and documented their answers. Through this entire experience, he was convinced that the mediums were indeed bringing forth deceased spirits. He came to this conclusion because the mediums were able to provide accurate personal information about the deceased, which was unknown to everyone present in the seance. In addition, some of these mediums were illiterate, yet they were able to write in the handwriting style of the deceased or even speak or write in a language that the medium did not know. Each time a different spirit came forward during the mediumship, there was a noticeable change in personality characteristics in the medium, and all these characteristics could be identified to be that of the deceased individuals. These initial questions would eventually form the basis for 5 books that Rivail wrote under the pseudonym Allan Kardec: The Spirit's Book, 1857, The Medium's Book, 1861, The Gospel According to Spiritism, 1864, Heaven and Hell, 1865, and The Genesis According to Spiritism, 1868. These 5 books became the Spiritist codification, the collective teachings of Spiritism, which is defined by Kardec as a science that deals with the nature, origin, and destiny of spirits and their relation with the corporeal world. The fundamental principles of Spiritism entail the recognition, firstly, that there is a first cause, a supreme intelligence, which is God. This God is eternal, immaterial, omnipotent, just, and good. God created immortal spirits which start out as ignorant and naive but gradually grow in wisdom through many lifetimes of reincarnation on the material plane. The ultimate goal is absolute perfection, with Jesus Christ serving as an example of a spirit who has attained it. His maxim, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you," is considered the right behavior to follow, as the law of cause and effect ensures we will eventually experience the consequences of all our actions. The path of the spirit's evolution is ever upward, but the rate of progress depends on the effort in each life. Each spirit also has a distinct and unique personality that follows them from life to life. They will tend to find themselves in the company of other spirits with whom they have interacted in the past, whether positively or negatively. There are both positive and negative spirits across many planes of existence, and they can either aid or harm us during our time on Earth. People known as mediums can communicate with these spirits. Positive spirits, despite being in the spirit realm, can aid us in the physical plane by offering guidance and advice. An extreme example of this is the psychic surgery mentioned in a previous video, which was accomplished through the channeling of helpful entities. The practices of Spiritism can be done at home or communally in Spiritist centers, where lectures, study groups, youth and children's meetings, conferences, and healings take place. Because of their philosophy, all of these services are provided free of charge. Their income comes only from the sale of books and merchandise or through donations. Spiritism also places a lot of emphasis on doing good, for example, helping those in need. I am now going to delve into the healing techniques of Spiritism and explain why they can be beneficial to others. Health and disease are functions of the whole person, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Therefore, Spiritism's healing techniques tend to incorporate all these elements. Since Spiritism uses mediums that can communicate with spirits, they can help diagnose patients' problems in some cases. In terms of therapies, there are individual and group prayers, counseling, and lay-on hands or magnetic passes, where the healer channels energy from the spirit world to the patient through touch to balance the patient's energies and promote overall well-being. Another method is fluidotherapy, which involves the drinking of magnetized water that has been positively imprinted through therapeutic touch by healers. One of Spiritism's more unique therapies is their use of disobsession and a refined version of it known as apometry. Disobsession is a therapy to remove negative spirit entities that are disturbing patients and causing physical and mental illnesses. Apometry comes from the Greek word apometron, which means measure from a distance. The technique is often performed remotely, with the therapist projecting their energy and intentions to the patient from a distance. Trained therapists, through visualization and intuition, can identify any areas of imbalance in the patient's energy field. The spiritual bodies are separated from the physical bodies through visualization, and then different methods like projection of energies are applied to the spiritual body to cleanse and balance it. This can include removing negative entities from the patient's field, making it a form of disobsession in those cases. Spiritism is now practiced in over 20 countries and has influenced other religions like Afro-Brazilian Umbanda and Vietnamese Caudism. Brazil has the most adherents, with some estimates suggesting up to 30 million people being involved directly or indirectly with its practices, including paying visits to spiritist hospitals set up all over the country. I will do a future video on my research trip to Brazil, where I found out how spiritist psychiatric hospitals there are blending spiritist therapies, especially disobsession and apometry, with mainstream psychiatric drugs. If that interests you, please like and subscribe. Part of the reason why Spiritism has attracted such a huge following in this country is because of a person named Chico Xavier, 1910 to 2002, who was a popular spiritist medium in Brazil. During his lifetime, he wrote more than 490 books and over 10,000 letters to family members of deceased people using automatic writing. One of his most famous books, The Astral City, A Spiritual Journey, Nosso Lar in Portuguese, translated as Our Home, made its film debut in 2010 and talks about spiritual life after death. Spiritism is often confused with spiritualism, so let's spend a bit of time highlighting the differences. Spiritualism is a broader term that encompasses communication with spirits and mediumship. All spiritism can therefore fall under the umbrella of spiritualism, but the reverse is not true, not all spiritualism is necessarily spiritism. Spiritism is more structured and organized and is often treated as a religion compared to spiritualism. The goal of Spiritism is on the personal growth and development of the individual through the practices, while spiritualism is mainly focused on exploring the unknown and gaining experiences through seances and healing circles. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts about Spiritism.